The UK is to offer Russian officials British citizenship to defect and pass secrets to MI6. I'm going to read into this exclusive from iNews, you guys. Let's go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here with an exclusive from iNews with the headline that the UK are offering Russian officials British citizenship to defect and pass secrets to MI6. The head of MI6 issued a public plea to Russians angry at the invasion to join hands with the UK. Guys, before I give my initial thoughts, you can hit the like button and share across social media so others are notified of this video. So there's been there was a story recently. I just wanted to share this story I forgot in one of my short videos. If you haven't seen that, Russian citizens have been fleeing to South Korea on the other side of the peninsula of the planet. So there is obviously a lot of Russians out there. Whether you want to believe it or not, you can take the story with a pinch of salt. But the premise is that there are a lot of Russians who are not happy with what's happening in their country. They're not happy with this war. They're not happy that they can't choose a new political leader, and they're stuck with Vladimir Putin. Obviously, there are some who are happy with the Russian president and are happy to be brainwashed by the state media, obviously there, but there are those who are simply fed up and want something different. Putin has got a real iron grip of the nation, pretty much down to the T, and any kind of dissent is being shut down by the police as well. So it's not really too much that they can do within it. Now, some kind of offer like this is not surprising, but I can already see people in the comments saying, well, we already have Russian influence within British politics, and you're absolutely right. We know that there is influence from not directly from the Russian government, but let's say from third parties connected to the Russian government have influence within the British politics within our own government. There's absolutely no question about that. However, I generally believe that if Labour do come into power at the next general election, a lot more will be investigated, a lot more will be looked at, and hopefully a lot of cleansing will be done as well. I think MI6 have had a very difficult time with doing its job with a Conservative Party with very close ties to allegedly close ties to certain Russian people who have connections to the Russian government. I think that's definitely been a serious issue for them. Has this compromised MI6? I'm going to say I don't know. Right, I'm going to sit on the fence on that one to say if MI6 is compromised or not. Again, like this kind of story, I would say you always take it a little bit with a pinch of salt, but I do find it an interesting one to say the least. So what's our thoughts about Russian officials being offered British citizenship to defect and pass secrets? I would say as long as if those secrets really does help protect Britain, protect it from cybersecurity, protect our finances, protect ourselves from Russia, then maybe it is worth it. I can already see someone in the comments saying, but we're already full, we can't take any more people. I think this is a little bit different to immigration. We're talking about Russian officials that could prove valuable, that actually want to defect and that actually want to bring Putin down, and rather than go to America, outright America, they'll go to the middle, go to a country like the UK where they can get some safety and also provide some secrets that could help Britain and MI6 protect itself from Russia. So that's the kind of what I think on the matter. So let's read into it, you guys. So Russian officials, appalled by the war in Ukraine, are being offered British citizenship to defect and pass secrets to UK intelligence agencies. 3 UK intelligence sources and a former Russian informant have told the Eye that British citizenship and cash payments are being used by the UK government agencies in certain circumstances to persuade disgruntled members of Vladimir Putin's regime to hand information to the UK. It comes after the head of MI6 last year issued a public plea to Russians angry with the invasion to join hands with the UK and share secrets to help end the war in Ukraine. The death of Russian opposition leader Alexei Navalny has further isolated Putin from the West, with UK Foreign Secretary David Cameron and his counterparts at this week's G20 summit declaring Russia was responsible for the murder of the Kremlin critic. By the way, this article was about 5, 6, 7 days old, just for reference, guys, but it's just I haven't had a chance to cover it. As Putin is accused of wiping out his fiercest critics and the war in Ukraine approaches its 2-year anniversary, pressure has grown on the British intelligence to gather information against the Russian president. The use of citizenship to renew informants has been in place since at least the Cold War, illustrated by the well-known Russian defectors such as Oleg Gordievsky. By the way, Gordievsky, you guys know, for those who know, I'm terrible with names, so I do apologise. But I has established that the tactic has been in use since the invasion of Ukraine, with official sources accepting that it is no longer confidential. To protect the ongoing operations of national security, the IA has kept further details it has uncovered out of this reporting. Extensive measures have been taken to weigh national security to ensure that it's not harmed by this story. And that makes sense. The IA definitely have a lot of sources within these agencies. I've not just covered some stories here on YouTube, but also on Patreon, 1 or 2 stories by the eye, exclusive that they seem to have as well. But like I say, you don't know 100% for certain, but this could give us an indication of what things are going on behind closed doors. British citizenship is one of the most powerful methods of persuasion at the hands of the UK government agency, the sources say. I would say that's a bit less now, considering the tropes that you have to get through to get into Europe now. Just going to go out on a limb there. However, this would only be promised when it is later determined that an individual can be trusted, and that given once they are either no longer needed or no longer able to glean information from their position in Russia. One intelligence source told the IA that potential informants are offered British citizenship in return for valuable information, while another said the use of citizenship was a key tool to convince people to hand over their secrets. A first source said, if you're trying to persuade someone to spy for you, depending on their motives for doing so, there is always the prospect of eventually that person may want to have or leave their home country to settle in the West. An offer of eventual British citizenship once settled here could be a part of that. They seek informals remain a key part of MI6 business model, adding that disenchantment of their government is not only motive for individuals, but to agree to spy for us. And Sir Richard Moore, the head of British Secret Intelligence Service, also known as MI6. A false source, a Russian informant who spoke on the condition of autonomy, said that British citizenship is an important incentive to persuade informants to speak to the intelligence agencies. It implies that at some point the source can become a fully fledged Briton. The individual and possibility even their family can enjoy the undisturbed life in Britain at some point in their future, he told the eye. It might help a Russian individual know in the back of their minds that they are acting in the interest of their future home country. During his speech in last July, MI6 Chief Sir Richard Moore, known as C, urged Russians appalled by Putin's actions in Ukraine to switch sides, announcing that others have already done so since the start of the war. I invite them to do what others have already done in the past 18 months and join hands with us, he said. We will handle their offers and help with the discretion and professionalism from which my services is farmed. Sir Richard sought to reassure potential dissidents with their secrets will always be safe with us and stressed that their loyalty to our agency is lifelong. A Russian state television channel broadcast by Russian spy-turned-MP Marina Buka later broadcast his speech, accused MI6 chief of employing a cheap recruitment methods for labelling his plea as a shameless provocation. Following the broadcast, Sir Richard tweeted that the British Foreign Intelligence Agency had been puzzled over how to get the message over a target audience in Russia. We never thought Russian state TV would step in to help, he added. Thanks, folks. One of the sources the eye spoke said Sir Richard carefully worded speech was aimed to offer a branch of appeal to potential informants' indications rather than financial interests, but added that one-off cash payments can sometimes be used to get sources over the line. They look for people who are in positions to survive after Putin is gone, he told the eye. They could do a one-off payoff student visa, for example, but that would be avoiding doing is entering into a country anomaly payment. Interesting word in there. The intelligence service didn't want to go anywhere near that. So Richard delivered his rare speech urging Ukrainians to defect and assist the UK from Prague, a city where UK intelligence cultivates its most significant British intelligence informants of the Cold War. Soviet tanks rolled up through the city of 1968 to forcefully crush a cultural liberalization known as the Prague Spring. The brutality of the repression shocked Russians already disillusioned by communism, was a key factor in turning them against the regime, including for KGB officer Oleg Gordievsky. Mr. Gordievsky spent over a decade passing secrets to MI6 from inside the Russian intelligence service, becoming one of the most prominent agents for British intelligence of the era. Now, as Russia finds itself increasingly isolated on the world stage, UK intelligence agencies have seized a rare opportunity to persuade Russian agents and government officials appalled by the war to help bring it to an end. Parts of that persuasion now include a British passport, a privilege Mr. Gordievsky now enjoys. But as this was the case for Mr. Gordievsky, MI6 will be poised to take drastic steps to ensure information reaches the UK authorities securely in a way that cannot be traced. A UK intelligence source said that the informants cannot be seen entering the British embassy, as any activity in and out of British government buildings in Moscow is lodged by local police and in hands to the domestic Russian intelligence service by the FSB. Of course, they don't want to make it blatant. You don't want to make it blatantly obvious. We know that it's going to be, we've seen the spy films and whatnot, behind the back doors and all that kind of jazz. It's not going to be. They're going to try and make it as very vague and secluded and secretive as possible. Probably it's happening right now, and we just don't know about it. I have a vast experience of getting information when it comes to government, they said. The way it works is you have an informant who speaks to the handler. The handler is an agent who then managed by a manager. This arrangement is set up so that the manager can have a firewall between the agency and the informant to increase the plausible deniability for the sources if they were ever questioned by Russian authorities, according to the official. During the relationship, the informant will be asked to meet their handlers in parks, bars, hotel rooms, or ghost buildings, properties set up with fake businesses to provide cover for meetings. The key to the relationship is to make it as natural as possible, they added. You need to give a real, legitimate reason why these two people are regularly meeting, the official said. This can take weeks or months, but you will make a new friend who is legitimate so it doesn't raise suspicion when you keep meeting them. The Russian informant will ask to go to a specific location at a specific time each week to receive directions from a handler. At the meeting, they would come over any information securely and receive their assignment, they claimed, which would sometimes mean travelling abroad. They told the I would like to make up a reason why I'm suddenly leaving the country to my friends and family. Another intelligence source spoke to said that Sir Richard's recent plea for informants was like nothing they had ever seen before. The current state of UK relations means that they being so direct in public they can't handle damaging our diplomatic relationship with Moscow, they said. That hasn't always been the case in the past, but overall it's not that surprising. And a government spokesperson said, it is our long-standing policy that we do not comment on operational intelligence or security matters. No, why would you why would you do so? So it's just a little summary here, just from the eye, saying why we don't publish everything we know about intelligence tactics. I think we already know, but I'm just going to read it by Richard Holmes. I'm just going to read it just for your guys' sake here anyway. So in the summer of 2023, the boss of UK's secret intelligence service made a rare public speech urging Russian officials appalled by the war to defect and start passing secrets to Britain. So Richard Moore, MI6 director, invited them to do what others have already done in the past 18 months and join hands with us to help the bloodshed in Ukraine. I set out to uncover what incentives the UK intelligence service can offer, persuade someone to come forward with information. After the death of Putin's most vocal critic, Alexei Navalny, the wrath of Kremlin will be firmly in the minds of disaffected Russians. Our extensive reporting found that British citizenship and the reassurance of refugees in Britain, once their service is no longer required, is being used as a powerful tool of persuasion. The UK should have nothing to hide in rewarding that those helps in the aims of being part of a strong tradition of British espionage honed over decades. The eye aims to help bring transparency and scrutiny to ensure its right decisions are taken in the interest of the UK. After all the tactics that has been used before, Sir Richard made his plea from Prague, where MI6 cultivated Oleg Gordievsky, the UK's most significant Russian spy during the Cold War era, who is now a British citizen. It is to MI6 credit that the shadowy world described by John Lacroix has been replaced by a slightly greater culture of openness and dialogue. In that spirit, the eye has described the lengths of the UK going in order to help illustrate the vast and complex diplomatic efforts that the war on Ukraine was necessitated. We have kept some details in our reporting to protect the ongoing operation and national security. Nevertheless, today's story provides an insight into perceived uncertainty in the minds of Putin's compatriots. and the lengths that MI6 and the government will go to gain information that may shorten the war. With every bomb that lands on Ukrainian schools or hospital, another seed of doubt in the minds of conscious Russian officials may be planted. So Richard's extraordinary public plea urging those wrestling with their conscience to help put an end to the bloodshed of the innocent. Interesting to say the least. Credit where, if, like I said, take it with a little bit of a pinch of salt. We don't know for certain what they can and can't offer, but I do think it's very interesting to say the least. I think it is if I'm, I was joking a little bit about. I do think it is an incentive for Russian agents who do have those questions, who do have those doubts about where Russia is going, and as a nation, it has changed under Putin a lot. There doesn't appear to be democracy anymore, and the question is, are they happy with the direction that they're going? Are they happy with where they are right now? Are they happy that they feel a bit cut off from the outside world ever since this war? There are those doubts in the minds of some of those people. So whether or not they will or not remains to be seen, and we won't know for certain because we can't be told. But I will say is that I think it's very interesting and very fascinating, to say the least. That MI6 is still has a very important role to play, not just for the UK, but I think for the whole world still. And long may it continue. But what do you guys think? Do you think that MI6 are right to offer British citizenship as a means to try and persuade and convert some of these alleged Russian officials? I'm just going to say alleged, these people to come and work for us to provide information on behalf of MI6. What do you guys make of this story? It's a very interesting one, to say the least. We covered a few different kinds of stories here on the channel, from a couple of exclusives from the Eye, and this is definitely one of keen interest that I've found. So yeah, if you found this article and my thoughts interesting, please hit the like button. It'd be greatly appreciated. Share this across social media so others are aware of this video, and subscribe, because it really does help support the channel. And if you want to go one step further and financially support me in the work that I do here, you can do so by becoming a YouTube member for as little as 99p, or join me on Rumble or Patreon for exclusive content there as well. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.